JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Trelawney crash victims identified. 3 people, including a man and his wife, were killed Thursday in a motor vehicle crash involving a Toyota Coaster bus and a Toyota Hiace on the North Coast Highway in Brocco, Trelawney. Police reported that 22 others were injured in the collision. The 3 deceased, all of sent and addresses, have been identified as 62-year-old driver Newvin Johnson of Liberty Valley, Tommy McCook, and his wife Annette Brown McCook, both 49, of Aberdeen, Brownstown. Police reported that about 1:30 p.m., Tommy was driving his Toyota Hiace, transporting his wife home following her dialysis treatment, when in an attempt to avoid a crash with another vehicle, he reportedly lost control of the vehicle and slammed it on into a Toyota Coaster bus that was transporting staff to work at Ocean's Coral Spring Hotel in Trelawney. According to one of the hotel workers, Johnson tried desperately to avoid the collision and drove the coaster bus onto the soft shoulder. At Falmouth Public General Hospital, Monique Pennant, one of the hotel workers who was traveling in the coaster bus, appeared dazed. Glass splinters could be seen on her body and she had a bandaged leg. "I realized that the driver was slowing down the bus, and then I felt the impact. I heard screaming all around me," she said. "I don't know how I came out, but I came out through the window and found myself walking," she said. Meanwhile, Johnson's wife Evadne was still trying to come to grips with her husband's death when she spoke at the hospital Thursday evening. The grieving widow described her husband, whom she said was a reliable provider, as a calm individual. "I was home when I got the news and I came down here. It was loving, calm, gentle, everything. Him don't make we hungry. God Almighty, I can't believe," she said, her face contorted with grief. Over the years, there have been a number of road fatalities in Bracco. Man killed in car outside Westmoreland nightclub. A man was shot dead in his car at a party along George's Plain Road in Westmoreland on Friday morning. The deceased has been identified as 27-year-old Dylan Blake of Strathbogie, Savlamore address in the parish. Reports are that Blake was at the posh nightclub when a loud explosion was heard. Shortly after, a passerby stumbled upon a body in a car and raised an alarm. The police were subsequently alerted, and upon their arrival, Blake was seen in the driver's seat in a reclined position. He was clad in a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and a pair of blue and white slippers. He was transported to the Savlamore Public General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Man fatally shot by police in Westmoreland. A man was shot and killed by the police during an operation in Gordon District, White House in Westmoreland on Friday. The identity of the deceased has not yet been released. Acting head of the Westmoreland Police Division, Senior Superintendent Wayne Josephs, in confirming the incident, said there was a fatal shooting shortly after 4:30 a.m. Westmoreland is one of the parishes that has been rocked by a string of murders recently. More than 4 people were killed across the parish late last month, including a 19-year-old who was gunned down in Greenvale last weekend. His attackers managed to escape. Construction worker shot dead in St. Thomas. Detectives assigned to the St. Thomas Police are probing the circumstances surrounding the shooting death of a construction worker in St. Thomas on Thursday evening. The deceased has been identified as 55-year-old Upton Robinson of Catholic Lane, Yallas in the parish. It's reported that the police were patrolling the Yallas area about 7:45 p.m. when they were alerted to explosions in Catholic Lane. On their arrival, Robinson was seen lying face down on the ground in a pool of blood with multiple bullet wounds. It is reported that Robinson was taking a shower in an outside bathroom at his house when he was shot. It was further reported that 3 men were seen leaving the scene in a lane located at the back of the premises. They escaped on motorcycles. This brings to 31 the number of people killed in St. Thomas since the start of the year. Elvis to face gun charges. A Hanover man has been charged after he reportedly shot at another man on Well Lane in Sandy Bay, Hanover on Monday, August 22. Charged with shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearms is Richard Reed, otherwise called Junior, Power Run and Elvis, a 28-year-old barber of Newtown, Sandy Bay in Hanover. Reports are that about 8 p.m., the man was walking along a track when he heard a clicking sound, after which he saw Reed pointing a gun at him. He ran and was fired at. However, he managed to escape injury. A report was made to the police and an investigation was launched. Reed was subsequently arrested and charged. Man killed hours ahead of Greenvale Peace Walk. The troubled community of Greenvale in Manchester was rocked by its fourth murder in less than a month early Thursday, just hours ahead of a planned community peace walk by police, political representatives and religious leaders. Head of the Manchester Police Division, Superintendent Shane McCullough, and a Member of Parliament for Manchester North Western Michael Phillips were among those who were expected in the community for the social intervention, but had to shift focus to the murder of 40-year-old David Jr. Reed at the entrance of Bethel Street in Greenvale. It is really regrettable that on the morning that we were supposed to do the walkthrough, I received this news, Superintendent McCullough said. A police report said about 6:30 a.m. Reed was opening his establishment when he was attacked by a gunman. He was later pronounced dead at hospital. Right now we can't truly ascertain what was the motive behind this. We have information that it was a man on foot and that as Reed opened the shop, the man just went across and fired, said McCullough. However, later on Thursday, a man was taken into custody for questioning in relation to the killing. Last month, a restriction was placed on entertainment events in the community following the August 5 killing of 34-year-old Adrian Nation, otherwise called Blue, a chef of 14th Street in Greenvale, and a man known only as Lord Leave at a party in the community where a man and woman were also shot and injured. Last Saturday, Shandane Harriet, 20, was fatally stabbed by a 16-year-old girlfriend on Bethel Street in Greenvale. Superintendent McCullough said the police mobilized the walkthrough as a response to the incidents. This is one of the communities in which the police have, over the years, invested a lot of time and effort with policing strategies. As you see before, we had planned our community walkthrough from 2 weeks ago as part of our response to some recent incidents that took place in the space, he said. We are still pushing through the community walkthrough, and we are still pushing on with speaking to the MP, the church, other interest groups and the social intervention individuals to see how best we can bring back that level of normalcy to this particular space, he added. He's appealing to residents to continue collaborating with the police. We just ask the citizens of Greenvale and the wider Manchester to come on board as we try to curb and stop this monster. At this time, there are going to be some measures that everybody might not be comfortable with. The shops will have to be closed at a particular time and so forth, but we'll just ask citizens to work with us as we get this space back to somewhere where everybody can come back out and enjoy themselves, he said. Phillips, meanwhile, said he knew Reed as an entrepreneur and was a peaceful person. He was one of those youths who you could brand as a troublemaker. He usually keeps to himself and runs his little business. It is disturbing of what is happening in the community. This is the third murder in weeks that we're having in the community, he said. Phillips is hoping that the peace that was restored to Greenvale will not be reversed. It took us years to bring the community to where it is, not with violence, but with peace. There were days if you lived in Bottom Greenvale and your child went to Hatfield Primary, you couldn't even walk through Top Greenvale. That is how tense the community used to be. That was the violence that we used to see, he said. We brought it to where the community came together, and the police have been working with the community. A few months ago, we had a shooting in the community, and it was the youths in the community who handed over the person who did the shooting. This is how much they have been working with the police, and to see this happening now in reversing the gains that we have had, it is a bit frustrating, he said. Phillips is calling on the police high command and the Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang to bolster the resources available to the Manchester Police, because what has been happening in Greenvale is systematic of what has been happening across the parish itself. We don't want them to wait until the parish has fallen as a murder capital before they send resources into the parish itself. If you go to the divisional office, they'll tell you that they are short of manpower and cars, said Phillips. We have been asking for a while for some of those to come into the parish. It can't be just when you have a shooting, then you send in a 1 or 2 extra police and then you pull them back out. If we're going to deal with the matter of crime, we have to deal with it in a systematic way in trying to suppress it and keeping the communities in a peaceful manner in doing community work with them, he said. Added Phillips, I'm hoping that those who would have committed the murders in the community and the shootings, that they'll be brought to book. But we can't be easy on them, because when one puts the effort, the community members, the police, myself, other politicians, in bringing peace to the community, and then seeing it taken away like this, it is not easy at all, he said. And Superintendent McCullough said more social intervention will be done in the community. We're also looking at having some sporting activities and some of the development activities in this space, and we're partnering with some other interest groups. But as time goes by, those particular projects will be communicated, he said, when asked if there are gangs operating in Greenvale McCullough said the police are aware of violence producers in the area. I won't say that they are active, but there are criminal elements in various spaces that seek to carry out mayhem. But we as the police are putting our strategies in place. We'll be continuing with certain security measures and certain security initiatives to cauterize those problems, he added. 107 new COVID-19 cases, 8 deaths reported. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 107 new COVID-19 cases and 8 deaths on Thursday, September 1, bringing the infection total to 150,018. The new cases comprise 59 females and 48 males, with ages ranging from 51 days to 97 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 25, St. Catherine 19, St. James 12, Manchester 10, St. Thomas 9, Clarendon 8, St. Anne 7, St. Elizabeth 6, Trelawney 6, St. Mary 2, Hanover 1, Westmoreland 1, and Portland 1. There were 8 deaths over the last 24 hours. The deceased are a 95-year-old male from St. James, a 74-year-old male from St. Thomas, an 84-year-old female from St. Anne, a 67-year-old from St. Anne, an 81-year-old from St. Anne, a 96-year-old from St. Anne, a 59-year-old male from St. Anne, and a 75-year-old female from St. Elizabeth. There were 105 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 96,824. Currently, 126 people are hospitalized, 35 of whom are moderately ill, 3 severely ill, and 3 in critical condition. Jamaica's positivity rate for the latest round of testing is 25.4%. In sports news, Sharika Jackson, Jamaica's only winner on the day. After a day of track events at the Allianz Memorial Van Damme Diamond League meet in Brussels on Friday, Sharika Jackson was the only Jamaican winner. Jackson ended Shelley and Fraser Price's season-long winning streak in the women's 100 meters after she nipped her compatriot on the line to win the event. She ran 10.73 seconds, thus catching the fast-starting Fraser Price at the tape, who clocked 10.74 seconds. Ivory Coast's Marie-Josée Tallou was third in the race, running 10.78 seconds. For the 100 meters hurdles event, Brittany Anderson was fourth, running 12.44 seconds, just ahead of Megan Tapper, who ran a lifetime best, 12.51 seconds. Jasmine Camacho, Queen of Puerto Rico, won with a meet record and season best, 12.27 seconds, ahead of the ever-improving American Tia Jones, who broke her personal best of the second straight race with 12.38 seconds. Candice McLeod was fifth in the women's 100 meters, in 50.76 seconds in a race that saw 2 national records being broken and 1 other personal best. Stephanie Ann McPherson placed 8th in 51.73 seconds. Rochelle Clayton ran a personal best, 52.02 seconds for third in the women's 400 meters race, which was won by Frances Amadine Brossier in 51.74 seconds. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.